Hello friends, I am Dr. M.S. Purkar, head of the Department of Civil Engineering. As you are aware, in the last lecture, we have discussed about Civil Engineering Department, the core structure of FY BTech, and as you are aware that for this subject engineering mechanics, which is introduced in the first semester, which is having 4 credits in your F5 BTech curriculum. In the last lecture, we have seen the detailed syllabus of this particular subject. Also, we have discussed what are the objectives of this particular subject which we have introduced in F5 BTech curriculum. And also, we have seen what will be the course outcomes, what are the skills which will be acquired by the students by studying this particular subject that we have discussed. Now, today is the second lecture, so I will just want to introduce the subject and I want to start with the introduction of the subject and gradually we'll switch over to unit number 1. So, in mechanics, this particular subject, we are going to study the action of forces on the bodies which may be stationary, that is at rest, or which are in motion. Okay. Now, this subject, engineering mechanics, broadly it is classified into two groups. One is the statics, other one is dynamics. Now, in statics, what we are going to do? We are going to study what will be the action of the forces on the bodies which are stationary or which are in rest position. In dynamics, we are going to study the action of forces on the bodies which are moving or which are in motion. Now this dynamics is further, again there are classified into two groups. One is called kinematics. In kinematics, we are going to study the motion considering the mass of a body and the force causing the motion of a body. In short, we are going to solve the problems in mechanics by using Newton's second law, that is F equals to ma. F, as you know, F is a force, m is a mass of a body, and a is a acceleration in meter per second square. In kinematics, we are going to study the pure motion of a body without considering mass, as well as we are not going to consider force also. We are going to study the relationship of displacement, velocity, and acceleration. Nowhere mass of a body as well as force causing the motion will come into picture. So in your 10th, 11th and 12th, you have studied some kinematic equations. If you remember, V equals to U plus AT, S equals to UT plus 1 half AT square, V square equals to U square plus twice AS. So these are all the best examples of kinematics. But remember, whatever you did, it was pure analytical work. Now we are going to see what will be the application of these things in solving the engineering problems that we are going to study. Okay. Now, next is, before we start, there are certain important definitions or terms which you must understand, because I am going to use these terms frequently. When I will teach this subject, I will use these terms. For example, particle. Particle means what? Particle is also a body, but it has got very limited dimensions. And that's why it is considered to act at one particular point. It has a mass, but dimensions are so small, and that's why they are neglected, that is called as a particle. Now come to the next definition, that is a body. It is made up of infinite number of particles, and it has got a, it can occupy a definite space, that is called a body. For example, the bench on which sitting, it is a body. The table, it is a body. Like this. And as you know, they are made up of infinite number of particles. Next one, what is a rigid body? If you apply a force on a particular body, there will be no deformations. This type of object we are calling it as a rigid body. But you will observe, there is no rigid body, perfect rigid body existing in the universe, and that's why it is an imaginary concept. Assuming that when we apply the force on a body, the deformations are so small, and to start with the subject they are neglected. So remember, in this particular subject we are going to study action of the forces on rigid bodies. We are not going to consider any sort of deformations. So whatever the definition of engineering mechanics which we have seen to start with this lecture, now I will revise. We are going to study the action of forces on the rigid bodies, that you must understand. Next one is a scalar quantity. You know, scalar quantity, you are all aware. It is a physical quantity and it has got only magnitude, no direction. Quantity which can be defined completely with the magnitude only, that is called as a scalar quantity. For example, mass, which is measured in kg. So only magnitude is enough. Time, magnitude; volume, magnitude; area, magnitude; speed, magnitude. And that's why these type of quantities, they are called as a scalar quantity. For certain quantities, we need to define both magnitude and directions. These quantities we are calling it as a vector quantity. For example, force, we need to define magnitude, we need to define direction. Velocity, we need to define magnitude, we need to define direction. Weight, we need to define magnitude, we need to define its direction, in what direction it is acting. So these are the very important terms which you must know. Next is a mass. Is a quantity of matter contained in a body, and its unit is in kg. For example, when you go to grocery shop, you purchase something and that is measured in kg. That is a mass of that particular uh, object. Okay. Weight. What is a weight? Weight is a force exerted on the earth by the body. So how, if you know the mass of that particular body, 1 kg mass is equals to 9.81 Newton. So mass, if you multiply it by 9.81, you will get a weight of that particular body, and weight is a force. Remember. Okay. Next one, force. What is a force? Force is an external agency which brings the motion in a body, which can change the motion of a body, and which also checks the motion of a body. So this physical quantity is called as a force. So if the body is at rest position, if you apply certain force, it will start moving. If a moving body, if you apply the force in opposite direction, it will reduce the motion of that particular body. So this type of, this quantity is called as a force. And we have seen force is a vector quantity. Its unit is in Newton, or you can measure in kilonewton also. Then what is a unit Newton force? 1 Newton force, how we will define according to Newton's second law? You see, here I have given F equals to ma. So the force required to produce an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in a body of mass 1 kg. That is called as a 1 Newton force. That's why unit of force, see, 1 kg dash meter per second square is equal to 1 Newton. Okay. So unit of a force, remember, it is 1 Newton. So 1 kg equals to 9.81 Newton, 1 kilonewton, 1000 Newton, 1 meganewton, 10 raised to 6 Newton, 1 giganewton, 10 raised to 9 Newton. This way you have to remember. Okay. Now you see, again I am coming to the definition, action of forces on the rigid bodies. So you should understand the force in depth. What are the characteristics of the force? It has got a magnitude, it has got a magnitude, it has got a direction, that is angle theta. It has got a sense, you see, either pull if it is acting in opposite direction, push, and it has got a point of application O. So these are the four characteristics of a force: magnitude, direction, sense, and point of application. Okay. Then there are two types of forces. One is called body force, a force acting on each and every particle of a body, that is called as a body force. For example, gravity forces, you know, they are acting on each and every particle. Okay. And what is the magnitude of gravity force? 9.81 meter per second square. Okay. Similarly, surface forces, forces which are applied on the external surface of a body, that is called as a surface forces, or these are also called as active forces. Now you are sitting on a bench, your weight will act as an active force on a bench. This is example of a active force. So I hope you understand what is a body, what are the different types of forces, because our object is to study the action of forces on the bodies in this particular subject. It may be stationary, it may be moving. Okay. So before we start, we must know certain fundamental principles of engineering mechanics. These are also called as a axioms of engineering mechanics. First principle is a law of parallelogram of forces. Principle of transmissibility of forces. Third one is Newton's laws of motion. Fourth, Newton's law of gravitation. And fifth is principle of superposition of forces. So these are the 5 fundamental principles of engineering mechanics. With the help of these, you can solve any problem. You can analyze any object under the action of forces with the help of these 5 principles, and that's why they are called fundamental principles. So I will not discuss in sequence. Wherever I will find the application, that point I will discuss those principles. Let us start with the principle of transmissibility of forces. So what is principle of transmissibility of forces? You know the characteristics of the force, point of application. Let us take this force F and its point of application is point A. So the point of application of a force can be transmitted anywhere along its line of action within the body without changing its effect. This is called principle of transmissibility of forces. The meaning is, you see, there are 2 points on a body, point A and point B. And this is the, you see, this is the line of action of this force. You see, this is the line of action of this force. You can extend it indefinitely. This is the body A, and body A, I will take point A and point B. Now the force is acting on point A. According to principle of transmissibility, the point of application of this force can be shifted from A to B. The effect produced by this particular force, that will not change. This is called principle of transmissibility of forces. But while shifting the force, you will have to take care. It should be shifted along the line of action only. Agree? You cannot shift it like this. You have to shift like this only along this line of action. Anywhere you can shift, there is no problem. Okay, this is the principle of transmissibility of forces. Now coming to the force systems. See, we are going to analyze the action of forces on the bodies or objects. It may not be a single force, and when two or more forces acting on a particle, then it is called as a force systems. That is, to form a system, minimum two forces are required. So force systems, broadly they are classified into two groups: coplanar force system and second one is non-coplanar force system. Coplanar force system means what? Very simple. When all forces they are lying in one particular plane, they are called coplanar force system, in a plane of paper. Non-coplanar force system, forces which are not acting in the same plane, they are called as a non-coplanar force systems. I will give some examples. You see, coplanar force system in vertical plane, F1, F2, F3, they are lying in one plane. Similarly, this F1, F2, F3, they are also lying in vertical plane, one plane only. Whereas you will find non-coplanar forces, this is a 3D objects, this is one plane, this is another plane. Some forces are lying in this plane, some forces are lying in this plane, and that's why this is called as a non-coplanar force system. Okay, now non-coplanar force systems are not included in your syllabus. We are going to study only action of forces which are lying in one particular plane, that is called as a coplanar force system. Now this coplanar force system is divided into four groups. First one is collinear forces. Forces acting along the same line of action. You will find this F1, F2, F3, F4. They are acting along the same line. They are called collinear forces. Concurrent forces. The forces which are acting at a point. The line of action of all forces passing through a single point. You see, this is a point O. You see, F1 is passing through this point, F2 is passing through this point, F3 is passing through this point. Line of action of all forces passing through single point. Such a type of system is called as a concurrent force system. Non-concurrent forces, forces not acting through, you see, these forces, they are not acting along the same line. They are not passing through a single point. The pattern of the forces is a random. This type of system is called as a non-concurrent force system, or it is also called as a general force system. So I hope you understand what is collinear force system. Okay, concurrent force system, non-concurrent or general force system, and the last force system is a parallel force system. Parallel forces, when the line of action of all forces is parallel to each other. You see, this force is parallel to this, this is parallel to this. This type of system is called as a parallel force system. There are two types of parallel force systems, like parallel. Forces which are parallel and acting in the same direction, they are called as a like parallel. Unlike parallel, forces which are parallel but acting in opposite directions, called as a unlike parallel force system. So, in short, today I will conclude my lecture. What we have seen what is engineering mechanics. We are going to study the action of forces on the rigid bodies. Now, to study the action of forces, we must know the force systems. We have seen there are two types of force systems, coplanar and non-coplanar force system. And we are not going to consider non-coplanar force system. Our study will be restricted to only coplanar force system, and in coplanar force system we are going to study collinear force systems, concurrent force systems, general or non-concurrent force system, and parallel force systems. So in the next lecture I will demonstrate how to calculate the resultant of these different types of force systems. So what will be the target in the next lecture? How to calculate the resultant. That means if number of forces are acting on a body, how to convert all those forces into a single force. The effect produced by single force and effect produced by those number of forces will be the same. That is called as a estimation of resultant. That we'll discuss in the next class. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you very much.